Oh my God. It was a long procedure to find the lyrics, and I had an idea, and I uh, played a very long time with this idea. And one day I had this inspiration of this Calypso, and it's a wonderful genre of music. And yes, then I thought this is the right hook line for this wonderful melody that I found, and I introduced it to Johann, and he said, "Oh, wonderful!" But it was in the winter, and he said, "Okay, we will wait until summer, and then we have a wonderful tune for the summer." And this is what we did. And Johann made wonderful tracks for that, and invented his own melodies. And I'm very happy with this result that we achieved in the end. And now it's running, and I can see that people like it, and I have a lot of uh, respondents on that new release. Yes, it will conquer the dance floor.
I think since several years we are working together with Michael, since now maybe something nearly 10 years, and from Systems in Blue, and now this project we have, and we've got the habit to work together. Sometimes it's a song I work, I create myself, and Michael sing on it. Sometimes we co-wrote. And this time, it's a song that Michael wrote. He sent me the demo, and it was immediately the track was feeling good, catchy chorus, and of course a great melody, and the I say to Michael exactly what he said, that he sent me that it was in December or January, I don't remember. It was winter. I say it's a perfect song for summer because it's the name Calypso and the melody and everything. I had yet some idea about the arrangement, and so we decided to release another song called "Keeper of the Flame," the song I wrote, and for this summer to release that track Calypso, which is perfect because I think I find the good colors for this song. It's a perfect summer song, and when Michael said it to me, I immediately think it was perfect for the summer, and it's a good song. It's catchy, and the production is good, and Michael's vocals are always perfect. There is nothing to say about that. Everybody knows his magical touch. So I'm very happy about this song. It's a perfect summer track. Perfect. It's with Michael. We our project, the MS project, and the Michael shot. We are not into 80s at all. Some tracks maybe can have very few of them some influence of the 80s, but it's not our goal. My goal with the MS project was to do what I like, and I'm really influenced by a deep tropical house, deep house, and in fact, this kind of music since the beginning, since DJ like Kaigo, or people like Felix Jen, or Menace DJ, producers in that kind of music, they mix a lot of colors and a lot of influences coming from, yes, from West Indies, from Africa. So there is some color. There is a kind of blues Hawaiian guitar inside, and yes, there is some color that came from other countries of the world. But I think the music has never been so, I would say, mixed today with tropical and deep house are the main example of the. It's a mix of different flavors, and it's true that there is a lot of flavor from all the world, and it's good.
Yeah, that's my opinion too. It's a mixture of many influences, and I think it's the right music for today, for our time that we are just living, and that's why I like this project with Johann so much, and we make it since 2015, we started with I'm Not the Man I Used to Be. And yeah, since then we make 3 or 4 singles.
We have made an album a few years ago, but today it's not time for releasing albums. People buy or listen to music in a very different way than years ago. So we release a single every 3 months, something like that. And we are charted when the track is in the chart. It's charted during 3 or 4 months. So yes, we have a long collaboration now, but our project is more for a younger audience. I would say people who love to go into clubs or to chill. Or it's not absolutely not for I would say the fans of Systems in Blue. There is Systems in Blue, and they have their own genre. So with Michael, our goal have never been to be in that genre. And Michael always told me, "I'm interested because you're doing something different." And there is a lot of people who are doing very good 80s music, and it's not my goal to do 80s music with Michael. No, because my project, MS Project in my artist name, was existing since the mid of the 2000, and my first record was a huge hit in France, and it was a song it was a remix of Alan Parsons' project Eye in the Sky.
Right.
And I've made a lot of 80s remixes. I have worked with a lot of many artists. I've been the producer of Bad Boys Blue for several albums. I've still done one last year. I work with a lot of 80s artists, but for my solo project, MS Project, it's not the goal to make 80s music. Since more than 10 years, I'm doing deep house. I really like this kind of music, and people like Avicii make a huge influence, change the way about thinking music, the mix between gospel vocals and blues guitar with electro and everything. And after that, people like Kygo, Felix Jen, and all this kind of producer. I'm interested more into that. I still do remixes of the 80s. I've just released a new version of Dolce Vita with my good old friend Ryan Paris. But it's not an 80s version. We put some colors inside, but it's a modern track. That's my goal. So I've made some 80s stuff, but I'm not going to produce Systems in Blue song. I think Detlef knows perfectly how to do it. I love the 80s, but even with Bad Boys Blue, when I work with John, he told me that he don't want to have an 80s song. Bad Boys Blue has a style, and we made album in the style that it's a mix between of course there's 80s influences and some 80s colors, but it's not what I'm doing. And with Michael, what was the interest to do an 80s project? Michael knows, I think, all the 80s music decades in Germany with CC Catch and Blue System and Modern Talking, and after with Systems in Blue. So for Michael, I think it was also interesting to have something different. And Michael came into my world, I would say. And Michael, I was looking for a singer, and at the beginning, when I worked with Systems in Blue 10 years ago, we never thought about doing something together. We spoke with Michael and said, let's try something. But it's Michael who came into my world after he bring his ideas, of course. But Michael came into deep and tropical house.
It's not I'm living today and I want to make music for today. And Systems in Blue, of course, is a reminiscence for the 80s, and we make this 80s sound. But already from the beginning of Systems in Blue, we always added new influences, new sounds, new beats, and it was not a copy from the 80s from the beginning. Yes, we had some persons we worked together, like Itamar Moras. He is an 80s fan, and he's really, really stuck to the 80s, and he made a lot of nice mixes for us. And a few years ago, we were in the Netherlands at the studio of Carol Post, and he has a real 80s studio with all this gear from the old synthesizers and expanders and samplers. And yes, then we made this There's No Heart, There's No Soul. Uh, that's just in the 80s style, and we made a vinyl from it. And yes, this is what we do for the fans that really want to hear only 80s sound. But as I told you, I'm not fixed to this. It's the past, and we were very successful, and we had an influence on the sound, and many people like this. But I'm so happy to be able to work with Johan, and it's really a new way, and we can evolve our own ideas. So it's not stuck to the 80s. And as Johan said, it's tropical, and it's this métier that he really is into, and he makes a perfect sound. And I think we made already 20 singles, 20 songs, or even more. And we always get into the charts, and I think it can be heard on the dance floors all around the world. So this is what I can say to this. We are just working on a new song for Systems in Blue, and it's I just had a telephone call maybe an hour ago with Detlef Wiedeke, and yes, and he made a wonderful. He composed a wonderful song, and I made the lyrics and made vocals. And 2 days ago, our new member Michael Backens, he added his vocals, and now the mix is nearly ready, and we will have a new single and a new EP, maybe mid or end of July, for Systems in Blue. And this is going on strong, and we have 20th anniversary of Systems in Blue this year and next year, and so we are looking forward to the resonance of our new song that will be released very soon.
On the other side, I would add that Systems in Blue are Systems in Blue. They are a mix between the 80s and 90s. It means modern talking and blue system song, and they have their own color and their own identity, and they don't need to follow any fashion. Systems in Blue are Systems in Blue. I'm working with them since 10 years. I never said to Detlef or Michael, for Systems in Blue, you have to do this, you have to do that. Their music, they created themselves, Michael and Detlef and Olaf at that time. They have their unique touch, and we all know how good it is. And I've made some remixes. I would made some new ones. We bring also Systems in Blue with remixes in the new generation. It means I've made some modern remixes, and on the last single, Look Up, we have they have a collaboration with Spatial Vox, which is maybe one of the best representative of the new 80s sound of the new generation. People like Alim Kanoff, like Spatial Vox, they are very talented. They know to do the sound of modern talking, and they have made a remix in pure 80s sound of Look Up, which is very, very good. And so they have Systems in Blue have their own color and their own identity. They don't need to change something because it's them. And there is some remixes that bring people into the 80s pure sound, and in sound more clubby, more actual in the remixes I've made. But I think Systems in Blue are a kind of icon of the 80s, and they are not going to change like Bad Boys Blue, or they have their own color. And John never asked to do something pure clubby track or something to 80s. He wants to do Bad Boys Blue music, and I think Systems in Blue are doing Systems in Blue music. I work with partners. I have my own worldwide digital distribution. I'm working with the best of distribution of Europe, and maybe one of the biggest in the world. So, and I have some partners for the physical release. And it's really complicated because today making albums or physical vinyl or CD, it's only for die-hard fans. Because today the young generation, they go everything on Spotify, on Deezer, on Apple Music, and they listen to the track number 2, number 5, number 8, and they don't. The new generation doesn't think in terms of albums or EPs. It's track by track singles. That's why with Michael we do only singles. For MS Project and Michael Scholz, we have tried to do an album, but it's not really interesting. For Systems in Blue, and because there is a generation of fans who are coming from the 80s, of course, there is always some physical, but we try to do something special on for digital. We change and add bonuses or different track listing with unreleased track on CD and also on a vinyl. We try to give to people interest, but there is no real marketing. Systems in Blue are very famous. There is a lot of people always asking for new song. They are fans in South of America. They are fans in East of Europe, in Russia, in India. So they are always looking for new music. So there is always people who follow and buy the songs, I would say. Marketing is more about physical study, CD and vinyl, because but we do each time very few copies because it's 500 copies, and we see after what's going on because it's only for what we say die-hard fans. So, but Systems in Blue has a name. There is no real marketing to develop an artist. They are famous. Everybody knows their story. Everybody knows Rolf, Michael, and Detlef, and Olaf too. So their name is enough, I would say. But they have a good support, and they have people to ask them to come to do some concert in South America. So it means that there is a worldwide community who follow them. Marketing is a bit more for our project because it's more electro, more clubby, and we put it in promotion, in charts. But for Systems in Blue, not really, because the people, when there is a new song, people follow and buy the track. Systems in Blue is a huge name, so there is always hundreds and thousands of people who follow them. And directly when there's a new song coming out, they go and listen to it, buy it. And Michael can confirm it because Michael is a specialist of Spotify. We've made a video last year for a summer track who has a cover of a song from the 70s that have been made very famous in the night. It was called "Oh Baby, I Love You." It's better when Michael sings it, but I've made a video for it. But video needs a huge invest about promotion, and it's a long time to make. I've made all the video myself because apart from being a musician and a musical producer, I'm also a video producer, and I have a TV show in France, quite very famous now about music, and I'm doing interviews of a lot of very famous artists since 25 years. People like Sting or Lady Gaga or the Black Eyed Peas, Celine Dion have come into my program, and so it's time, it's money, and the results are less interesting. I would say it's good. It's good to have a video, but it's not for all every single, and we need time to do it. The problem is, in fact, today producing music cost, and promotion cost too, and it cost as it was the same price or higher than 20 years ago. So if you want to have a song, we made a video, but you need to promote the track, and to promote the track you need to take people who work for web promotion or TV promotion, and it costs thousands of euros. And to be honest, streaming brings nearly nothing. So producing is one thing. We have the studio, so we can limit the cost, I would say. But the promotion is cost a lot. If you want to put a track on the radios in France, for example, you have to pay somebody to go and see the biggest radios in France, and it costs at minimum 2,000 or 3,000 euro a month. So we have others that have made 200 or 300,000 views. It's good, but it's without any promotion because Systems in Blue is a big name. So there is people who go and see, and Michael is known too because of what he has done in me as producer with Bad Bush Blue or Ryan Paris or other artists. So, but no, it's to pay promotion or to pay marketing, as you say, costs a lot that one is going to bring to us. By chance, Michael have a name known, and I have a name known too. MS Project is next year will be 20 years old, and I've got several hits across the world. I've worked with very famous artists from the 80s. So by chance, when we do something, there is people who find interest. Every song we've made have 2,000 or 3,000 plays on SoundCloud, and only because people go by interest to discover what we do. And to be honest, 3,000 plays bring €150. So you see, the marketing will cost 10,000 more. But yes, we have to multiply by 10, and we're gonna earn €200 that we have to split after. So maybe we can go and eat to the McDonald's. You see, music brings nothing nowadays. The time of the 80s and the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s is over. Streaming bring a song that have 10 million views represent something like €6,000. You see very famous bands, they have €5,000 or €6,000 to split a year, and there are 2 or 3 members. So what brings money today is to go on stage. But no, we don't do really invest on marketing, to be honest. No, man. We do some videos. If I had time, I would have done to Calypso because it's perfect track, and we can make. I should have made one video in the same genre as last year with a beach and beautiful girls and Michael singing, dancing Calypso with a beautiful. But I don't have the time because I have to release. I was releasing one single on my side, which it's a cover of ABBA, and I was working with Ryan Paris on a new releasing of Dolce Vita. And I'm working for Linda Jorizzo, it's another 80s star, on an EP for September, when there will be a duet with Michael and Linda. So I always have a lot of things to do in music. So to do a video, believe me, it's complicated because it needs time. But if I had time, I would have done. But with everything that's coming, Ryan, we had to release Dolce Vita in June because it's a summer track too, Dolce Vita, and Linda, there is an EP coming also in September. Maybe you know Linda Jorizzo too. And Michael have made a beautiful duet with Linda on a song of mine. And there will be a duet also with Bad Bush Blue on it. September, there will be also a new song for Michael and I, because we do every 3-4 months, we do a new single. I was not involved in Dupation, it was a project between Detlef and Olaf, because Michael and I, we have made MS Project and Michael Scholz. On the other side, they do Dupation. Dupation, I think, was Detlef and Olaf. DNO. I was absolutely not involved in that. They were doing good music, but that's why the last album of Systems in Blue was featuring Dupation and MS Project, because there was one project with me and Michael and one with Olaf and Detlef, but it was not me. I was not involved in Dupation.
I don't remember any song that has not been released, but most of them they are produced and published. And yeah, I searched already for for stuff that is not released. We have only some German things that we made in the 90s, and this is West End Park. It was a trio. Rolf Köhler, Dietler Wiedeke, and I, and it was some kind of unplugged that we made, and it was original, an order from Sony Music International, and yes, they gave us the task to make something in German, like Crosby, Stills and Nash. And yes, we made about 15 songs or so. And then when we were nearly close to the end, then the artist and repertoire manager says, "Oh no, this does not fit our program, and we will not publish it." And so some of these songs here you can find it in the internet. I think Miss Robota made some wonderful videos from it, and lately even this man from Russia that sings for Spatial Vox, he made a cover from my song "It Will Be Good Tonight." I think it's you can hear it on YouTube, but there's no unreleased stuff from Systems in Blue. We were working on the second album, and in the middle of the production, Rolf Köhler, he died. Unfortunately, he just passed away, and yes, in the first weeks and months we were paralyzed, and but we had to finish this project, and we had another project at that time. It was 2007, and we made this Heartbreak Boulevard for Mark Ashley. And even this album was only, there were only 6 songs composed from 12. And then Ditlev and I have to take gather all our confidence and all our strength to finish these 2 albums. And it was Out of the Blue and Heartbreak Boulevard. And yes, and then it was a very, very long time that we did not do anything for Systems in Blue. And yes, then some offers came for live performances in Poland and in Russia. And then at that time, we asked, it was maybe 2012 or 13, then we asked Olaf Senkbeil to join us for the live concerts. And after that, we decided to make a second chapter of Systems in Blue. And yes, then we started this second chapter generation of Systems in Blue with Olaf Senkbeil, and we published this EP Back in Blue. And yes, Johan helped us to publish it, because our old publisher for the first 2 albums, the Spectra Media, they did not want to publish it. And so Johan said, "I make it, I will support you, and I will add my own mixes, and then we can make an EP." And yes, this Children of the Night still is the most successful song that we ever published. It's about 10 million. And There's No Heart, There's No Soul. They are just, they have a race. Currently, There's No Heart, There's No Soul is #1 in our playlist.
It's a huge project. We've made we took Dancing in the. I think we've made this song. It was a song from you. If you we release it.
Dancing in the Sunlight. This was my first single, and this was the ignition of modern talking. It was our song from Great Flush. It was 1983. It was at the same company published where Dieter Bohlen worked, and he heard the sound of our voices and our choirs, and he invited us for studio sessions. At the time, there was no modern talking, and one remarkable studio session in September 1984, we invented the sound of modern talking. It was Rolf Köhler and Birger Korleis and myself. And since then, yes, this modern talking was
born.
But
yes. About the track of Michael, Propriété Privée, which is a French title, maybe. Yes. Maybe one day we can work on it and bring it into what we do with Michael and MS Project. Why not? It could be. Everything is possible in music. It's a question of time and of motivation. But there is. I know the Propriété Privée. There is very good song inside. There's very good songs. So maybe it's possible that what's going to be possible is that we can release some of the songs of Propriété Privée as singles first before doing the whole album. But we can. There is very good tracks in Michael's solo work. Everything is possible, as I say. It's just a question of time, but everything is possible. Michael write some good songs. So a good song is a good song. You can do it in hard rock, in techno, in valse. The arrangement is different thing, but there is some song that maybe we can think about. As I say, for September and October, for the fall, there is the EP with Linda taking care of, and there will be also something special we think about for the 20th anniversary of Systems in Blue. So there is always some stuff to do. It's a never-ending story, if you know the 80s song.
Oh, this is totally different. It was this Alex Blue, he's just a customer that once came to Ditlev and asked if he can support his project with some choirs. And it started maybe 10 years ago. And yes, and we made this production for him. And first, it was even Ditlev who made the sound, and Olaf and I and Ditlev, we made the vocals. And then this Alex Blue, he went to a producer in southern east of Germany. It's Enrico Cibulka. And then we came to this place and made this My Beautiful Angel, also the last thing that he published. But this Alex Blue, he likes to go to Luis Rodriguez, to Mallorca, and produce there. And he thinks that he is maybe the more famous one, and he can be more successful with productions at that place. So we are not really involved in Alex Blue. It's just he's just a customer, and he tries to jump on the train of the 80s and yes, and use the vocals from us to polish his efforts. Nothing else. So what can I say? And even in the 90s, I had a lot of projects, and I worked together with in the studio of Luis Rodriguez in Studio 33. And yeah, then we had a long period with Blue System. And yes, we always felt like cheated by Dieter Bohlen, because he did not pay us correctly, and he did not keep his promises to give us royalties for the sellings of records that at that time were the records, CDs were sold in a huge amount. And then we went to the court and tried to get our right for royalties, but we failed, and because it's impossible to get your rights in front of a court in Germany. You have to pay a lot of in advance for the process. And so Dieter Bohlen once said he does not work with us together because we accused him So then he continued the last two Modern Talking albums with Billy King, and it does not sound like Modern Talking anymore. So, and then we made this parody, this Dieter Talking, but it's only, it can only be understood by persons who are able to understand German. And this was, to tell the truth, it was maybe the first project of Systems in Blue, but it was already 2001 or 2003 when we published this. And then Thomas Wiedrath came up in 2003 and he said, oh, I have an idea and I have already a domain. This domain is Systems in Blue, and we agreed and we produced 3 songs, Sexy Anne, there's a System in Blue, and this Magic Symphony. And yes, we found a distributor, and since then we make Systems in Blue on our own respondents.
Oh, it was because there was a kind of remix contest that Thomas Anders proposed, and his producer Christian Geller, and a lot of people made remixes, and we had the idea. I think Olaf had the idea to make this together with the real original cores of choreos of Modern Talking, of course, and that's why it was our originality, I would say. And I've made 2 versions. One was a deep house version, meaning kind of what we do with Michael, and the other one was, it's true, for one time in the 80s sound, because I know also to make 80s sound. But yes, it was. We have very good reaction from the fans, and the song is free to download on my SoundCloud page, because that was the deal. It means if we do a remix, we had to that's what the producer asked. We had to put it free to be downloaded and shared for the fans. We haven't been chosen. I don't know why. Anyway, there are other songs and other producers, and but it's what not the point. The point was to make something great, and I see that I still receive some message and some likes we had with this Lunatic Girl, and maybe it was we have done the most close thing to Modern Talking, because there was the original singer and there was the original backing vocalist, the original chorus of Modern Talking. So, and this has never been done again. And it's a shame for me that Thomas, when he has released his last English album, trying to do something in Modern Talking style, doesn't call the original vocalist, because his album, the songs are okay. Thomas sings perfectly. He's a great singer, but I have to say, and many of the fans I've spoke to about that say the same. The high parts are not good. It's there is no power, there is no soul, there is no. It's flat. It's something with no life inside. When he came in, there is something coming. There was a unique touch in the Modern Talking. It's true. Michael, Detlef, and Rolf have created something that was very powerful, and it was a vocal signature into Modern Talking. And Thomas has tried to do Modern Talking songs like Lunatic Girl, but there is not the power and the color and the energy of Michael, Detlef, and Rolf. It's we just hear it, and the main reaction of the people is the same. The songs are paste and copy. It's not Dieter Bohlen, so it can't be as good as. Thomas sings perfectly, no doubt about it. But it's a shame that it's Billy King, I think, who have done it, or maybe other people, I don't know. But it's not Systems in Blue vocal. So it's with that track, Lunatic Girl, we've made something, I think, quite unique for the fans. And I think at the beginning it was Olaf's idea. if we have to give to the king what is have to be done to the king. I think it was Olaf ID, if I remember well, Michael, about doing that. Olaf told me that it would be a great idea if we can do that. I think I'm right, no? It was Olaf ID.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will add something. When we started Systems in Blue, of course, we called Thomas Anders and asked him if he wants maybe to join us for some songs. And yes, on the telephone, he was, yes, why not? But his management always said, no, 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 not with these persons. And so that's why he he announced to make an English album with the original choir of Modern Talking. But it was not the original choir of Modern Talking. It was the third generation of Modern Talking with Chris Leisbendorf and Billy King. And as you already could hear on the last two albums from Modern Talking, yeah, it's not the sound of Modern Talking.
And I would add also that there was the unique way of singing of Michael, Rolf, and Detlef, and we hear in the sound, but also in the mix of the songs of Thomas. I'm not talking about the way of singing. It's not the same, and there is left more power and color and soul into Systems in Blue choirs. But the way the choirs of Thomas are mixed on his last album is not good too. The vocal, the choirs are too into the music. In Modern Talking, you were having Thomas singing, and after you were having the powerful choirs of System in Blue. And in Thomas' new songs, the high parts are hidden into the music. They are not as I would say in front of the mix. They are in the mix, and it's not the good way to make those choirs alive. For me, today they are not. There is no life in those choirs. It could be done by the IA. It's now people are doing doing the IA to things like Thomas Anders. I'm not sure the IA can do the Systems in Blue choirs, but there was life, soul, and energy in what Detlef, Michael, and Rolf were doing. And it's a shame that Thomas didn't want to go again with them, because that's what we've put in Lunatic Girl, and that's why there is so many downloads, so many good reaction, and so many likes from the people. I receive always a message of people saying thank you for bringing the original voices together, the lead singer and the choirs. So I'm quite proud about this, and I'm very happy to have made this. And we can say to Olaf that he has a great idea. If you have the original choirs of Modern Talking, it's written on it because it's the real ones, and it's something it's something unique. You can try to copy, or you can't do what Michael, Rolf, and Detlef have done. I had the chance to have 3 or 4 songs that have been on the Systems in Blue album. It's a song I have wrote 20 years ago. Of course, I was influenced by Dieter Bohlen and Modern Talking, and those songs like Gambler, like Only You Can Break My Heart. Those songs were made for having choirs on it. And believe me, when I listened, I was in Germany at that time. When I listened to Systems in Blue high parts on my songs, believe me, it was amazing. It was something incredible to have a song of mine written 20 years ago, singing by Michael, and having the choirs of Modern Talking on my track. It was a dream coming true. I never thought something can happen, and it has happened. And we immediately, I hear we hear, because it's a vocal signature, we hear that it's the original choirs of Modern Talking. There is no doubt. And for Thomas, we hear it tried to be, but there is no no energy, no soul. I think the right name is No Soul, and it's a shame because Thomas is a fantastic singer. He's great. I met him. I've made an interview with him. It's in Paris. It's a great person. He's a fantastic singer. It's one of my favorite voice as a singer. I love the kind of high vocals like Peter Cetera of Chicago, but it's a shame that for the fans they didn't work together. But it's so they have Lunatic Girl. Systems in Blue is it's different for me. Systems in Blue, it's there is 80s influence and 90s influence inside. It's not modern talking sound. If you want to have the sound of modern talking, you have to go and work with Rodriguez and the Team 33. He's producing tracks for. Lot of artists, Fancy. He works with Fancy. I've made an album with Fancy. I've made an album for Baccarat. We hear just the sound of the kick. I know it's with Rodriguez because it's the same sound of kick like he was doing for City Catch. And there is something as a producer, it's this sound, and it's a perfect. Luis Rodriguez has a perfect sound. He's a fantastic producer. He was an influence also for me. But I think that Systems in Blue, even at the beginning, it was a kind of parody they wanted to do, proving the truth that they were a part of more than a part of modern talking. They have created their own sound, and for me, Systems in Blue, as I said before, it's more modern than an 80s track because there is a lot of 90s influence and even 2000 in the music. Detlef has a lot of different influence, and Olaf was on the two last album we made. Olaf have wrote a lot of songs, and Olaf was very creative, and Olaf brings also a lot of new ideas in Systems in Blue music. Olaf was somebody, still is somebody really intelligent, creative. It was fantastic to have Olaf in Systems in Blue because Olaf he was more younger than Michael and Detlef, and he brings new ideas. We have the same stuff in France with an 80s band called Indochine. It's a very, very famous French band. They make Stadium, and they are beginning in 81, and they were the first part of Indochine. And after there is a new guy coming in the band. He was a fan, and he was 20 years less than the guy from the band, and he brings a new energy, new ideas, new vision. I think Systems in Blue music, Michael said there is two parts, but for me, Systems in Blue music is unique. They have their own identity. They don't need to copy anybody. A lot of time I receive some message of people saying, "Oh, Systems in Blue, I must do this or do that." I say no. Systems in Blue, they are even at the beginning. For me, it was a kind of parody because of the Dieter talking. What they have done it very seriously, and they have created their own sound. So for me, they do the new single. I've heard it. It's a brilliant song. Maybe one of the best they've made. It's a very good track, and it's pure Systems in Blue. And they don't need to have the kick of David Guetta or I don't know the kind of effect that use Taigo. No, because the fans of Systems in Blue wants to listen Systems in Blue music. So it's a mix of influence. Detlef and Michael have influence on their own. Olaf having all kind of influence, but it's still Systems in Blue because Detlef is doing the music, Michael is doing the lyrics, or they co-wrote together, and Michael sings. There is a new member, Michael Backens, who was doing very good job. So I think the main good news is that Systems in Blue is still going on. And for me, like Bad Boys Blue, I would say, because a lot of people say, "Oh, Bad Boys Blue should be more modern." Sure. I say, no, why? The last album they've made was not produced by me, but by David Brandes, and everybody said, "Oh, it's really 90s, it's really..." But because it's the way John see Bad Boys Blue, the way it is. For John, Bad Boys Blue is not a modern group, it's not an 80s group, he has mix of the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. It's bands who have crossed decades, and if you know John, he's a pure fan of artists you can't imagine. John loves the Beatles. He's doing one kind of music, but I think Systems in Blue just do what they want, and that's what. If I was buying and I'm still interested in what they listen, as I say, I never say to them, "Oh, you should do this or you should do that." No, because it's a way to change their music, and it's not the point. I think the point is to respect the identity, and I'm working with them since 15 years, no, 10 years. And I always try to help them. I've made some modern mix, but and it has never been my goal to change their music. What Detlef and Michael and Olaf were bringing, for me, it was just great because it was Systems in Blue. And it's not the role of a producer to say, oh, you must do something really modern. No, we have the remixes for that. But and for the people who love the 80s sound, the pure 80s sound, we have now people we can collaborate with. We have Special Vox series. Alim Kanov is a fantastic and really talented guy. He made choirs. I don't know if you know Alim Kanov. This guy is amazing because he's completely influenced by Systems in Blue, and he's doing some choirs in, I would say, in the traditional way of Systems in Blue, of Michael, Rolf, and Detlef. And it's good to see that people like Special Vox, Tony Abate and his brother, and people like Alim Kanov, and also more younger people like Dominik Tarkowski, they are following and trying to perpetuate this sound, but with a tradition. And not bringing too modern stuff inside. They bring their ideas, but they want to be faithful to the original color. And I think Systems in Blue, they have created their identity, their sound, and we see the way that Special Vox or Alim Kanov say, for us, they are masters, they are inspiration. And so I think that, yes, you're right, Systems in Blue music is more modern than the 80s. We just have to listen to the kind of kicks or drums Detlef use, but also they have their own identity, and I think Systems in Blue music is Systems in Blue music, and I like it that way on my point of view. Michael, you can say you are a part of Systems.
Yes, I agree. I agree totally. Of course, we have our own identity, and we don't want to copy something, because yes, we are happy that we can continue after Olaf has left us for a reason I cannot understand, but he wants to go his own way. And now we ask our old friend Michael Backens. He already helped us with this album after Rolf passed away in 2007. And he made the choirs for the album of Mark Ashley, Heartbreak Boulevard, and yes, and he already helped us with Look Up, the single from last summer. And now I told you already, we have a new song in progress, and it's close to be finished. And Detlef will do the master soon, and will send it to Johan, and Johan will again start the procedure of publishing it, and we will have a wonderful cover design from Miss Robota from Lima, Peru, and yeah, we are really looking forward to provide the worldwide community of our fans with a wonderful new song very, very soon.
For every artist, the main thing is the fans, and I think that Systems in Blue have a huge community of fans. You're in India. We were talking about Mrs. Robota, who is a long-time follower and support, and a very active support of Systems in Blue. It's South America, and there is a lot of people also in the east of Europe, in Russia, and it's very good for them to, and I think that's why they still go on doing music. It's because there is people who still follow them, and Tredef, you are one of them. So we just have to say thank you to all of you.
He never asked us. He uses the old tracks from the 80s, and even Thomas Anders uses our old tracks. I think he will have permission from Dieter and Luis Rodriguez to use them for live concerts. And when Dieter Bowen makes live concerts, and even when Modern Talking made, or Blue System made live concerts in the past, it was always playback shows. even even if it's in a stadium with 50,000 persons.
The vocals, the choirs, even in the last mixes Dieter have made, it's the original ones from the 80s. So on stage, every time he used the original, Dieter used the original choirs of Rolf, Michael, and Detlef all the time. And in Blue System, when he was singing Blue System, we see some videos in ex-USSR and everything. It's Systems in Blue everywhere, and Rolf singing in all the chorus. So it was all the time. We hear it's original recording studio from Systems in Blue on stage.
Yes, that's it. Yes, and it's not possible to make the sound on the live concert because it's studio production.
There was Systems in Blue vocals, but you can take the example of the hard rock band Def Leppard when they work with a very famous producer called Mutelange. There was I always loved this band because they were having the kind of choirs, lot of choirs, and but it's only studio work. You can't. It's impossible to reproduce that on stage. Complicated because I'm living in France and Michael is living in Germany, but everything is possible. Why not? But what I would like to see is Systems in Blue live.
Yes, but even this is it's not so easy. These are studio productions, and it can only be playback shows. Make special tapes for that, or special mixes for half playback, so that two persons can sing.
It's a huge studio work. If we do a live show with Michael, it will be the same kind of stuff like David Guetta with Rihanna. It means I would be with a computer and a keyboard, and Michael will be with the mic and will be singing. If we try to do our music with a live band, it will sound completely different. So it will be a huge part of studio work played. Some parts can be played, the rest is something that is pre-recorded. And of course, Michael can sing the verse because he sings live. But when there is,
I can only sing one voice, and
that's true.
As we know from studio work, we make double and double and double, then second
and
voice,
harmonies and harmonies,
third harmonies, octave.
It would be like I say, like every DJ who is doing something with a singer. Producer, I'm also a DJ. I know I've worked in clubs and make people dance during nights and nights. But it would be like that. I will be with a computer and a keyboard, and Michael will be singing. It will be exactly like David Guetta, or I don't know, every big DJ. Even I won't have some platines because I prefer to have a keyboard and play something live. But it won't be a real live show. It's what I mean. You can see Michael sing live. I can play some parts, but there will be a computer with all the tracks inside for sure. But it's possible. But like every electronic producer, I would say do on live show. When you have Kygo on stage with Tina Turner, most of all now, because he made a remix with Tina Turner or Whitney Houston, he's doing that with his platines, but there is no singer. It's worst. But you can see David Guetta and with Rihanna, or she comes, she sings, and he's mixing. If we do something live together, it will be something like that. But I think Michael will sing. Michael will sing in real live. Which can be different with some of the artists who come in clubs, because Michael is a real singer.
To make a real live show, we would need maybe 30 persons on the stage to make the real sound. Then it can be possible to make a live show, but who will pay for 30 persons on the stage? And yes, I just had a friend. He saw The Who in Berlin in this Waldbühne, and they had this Babelsberg orchestra, symphonic orchestra, The Who, with Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey. And Yes, you can make it if 50,000 persons pay 150 euro for a ticket, then you can afford to make such a live show. But that is just a dimension for Systems in Blue that we did not reach yet, maybe tomorrow.
Bad Boys Blue is the same as Systems in Blue. If I do something with John again, it will be in the style that John wants. It will be Bad Boys Blue style, and Bad Boys Blue is something timeless. And I know well what John will ask me. He will ask for something modern, but who keeps romanticism, who keeps the color of Bad Boys Blue, and but not something too 80s and not something too modern, because it's not Bad Boys Blue. Bad Boys Blue are like Systems in Blue. They have their own identity. And John always told me, because I listened to Bad Boys Blue since I was 14 years old. And when I have the chance to work with John in 2006 for the first album I made with him, I've sent him 2 or 3 songs, and the responsibility at the end I've made the whole album, because John thought and find that I was completely understanding what is Bad Boys Blue music. For me, Bad Boys Blue had always be something romantic with a lot of piano and strings and romantic melodies, and also a dance side. But I didn't want to do Bad Boys Blue with the sound of 2006. I've made something that is timeless with I've reproduced it for the 10 years anniversary, and I just go with the vocals. But again, I didn't make something that was too clubby or following the last fashion in electro. No, that's not the point. And if I was producing Bad Boys Blue again, what is possible, I sent a song to John a few days ago. We still have very good relation, and he just bought a house near, not so far away from me in Spain. And we still are in touch, and we have very good direction. But just listen to the last album that have been produced 2 years ago by David Brandes. It's Bad Boys Blue, and a lot of people say it remained the sound of the 90s. When David Brandes produced Lover on the Line, the album of that time. And I think those bands have an identity, and they have some colors that you can change. And I think in Bad Boys Blue, to make a good Bad Boys Blue song, you need first the voice of John. That would be the main thing. And after, you need to have the colors that make Bad Boys Blue famous. It means romanticism, nice sound of piano, keyboards, and some pads, and also beats, but not something too modern, because the fine on a remix you can do, but if on the original mix you need to keep, I would say, the original vibe and the original soul. You're my heart, you're my soul. I've made an album last year with only unreleased, because a lot of people ask me about 25. It's the kind of best stuff we made in 2010, 2011. And it was something quite incredible, because everything has been resung and completely replayed and reproduced. There's nothing coming from the old tapes. I've reproduced everything. And the fans are always asking if there was not something released from this album, a song that haven't been. And I say no, but there was those maxi version that I've made. I reworked them a bit. And I've made a new album last year with only extended mixes, hand in hand with the original producer, Coconut Music. And it was something for the fans, limited edition. It was not, and we had a great result, and the fans are happy, because a lot of fans from the 80s love long mixes. I hope Detlef will make a long mix of the new song, because it's a lot of people love the maxi version, the 12-inch, and that's why I've made this album with John. But John was informed about what I was doing, and he always know, and we still have very, very good contact. And there will be a duet between John and Linda on the EP of Linda. You should invite Linda Jorizo on your program, Trilef, because she's very sympathetic. She's a great singer, and she sings also with Michael, so she will have a lot of things to share with you if you never have spoke with her. But I would say, as I say, thank you for your support, thank you for your interest, because it's very nice to be interviewed by you in such a. It's very far away, but we are with internet. We are close, and thank you for your interest in your music, because as we say, we don't earn money with music. We do more of this because of passion, and because we are happy to. I'm very happy to work with Michael, who for me is a kind of legend, and it's such an honor to have people like Michael or John or Ryan Paris who to collaborate with me, and so I'm very happy that our music is pleased, most of all because it's something modern. And MS Project and Michael Scholz is absolutely not 80s, and some fans could be disappointed because we are not doing, but it's not our goal. Our goal is to be happy doing the music we want, and it's definitely a modern project. So we are very happy that in India we have fans and we are playing the disco, as you say. So thanks a lot for all your support, your interest, and thank you, Trilef, for this interview with Michael.
I agree totally with you, Johan. We are very happy that we have listeners and fans and supporters in India, and especially to you, Trixie, that you always keep in contact with me and with us. And yes, we are so happy to have listeners and even persons who dance to our music. And yes, now we are looking forward to the support and the success of Calypso from MS Project and Michael Scholz. And again, I want to tell the public and the community that there is a new Systems in Blue song on the way very, very soon. So love and peace, India and the whole world. Let's keep peace, peace, peace.
Yes, that's the most important thing. And apart from so there is a lot of good news for the fans. There will be a new System in Blue song. There will be a new MS Project and Michael Scholz in few months, because we have just released Calypso 2 weeks ago, so it's very, very young. And in the fall, there will be an EP of Linda Jorizo, who is an old friend now, because I know her since 15 years now. And it's an EP with some incredible tracks. And there is 2 duets, one duet with Michael and one duet with John. And the EP of Linda will be called Shades of Blue. There is one guy of Systems in Blue and the singer of Bad Boys Blue. So it's nobody knows the title. I give you the first announce about it. It will be called Shades of Blue, and there will be also other songs, but it will be for the fans. It's something waited, because it's the first time Linda made a duet with Michael, and also the first time that Linda made a duet with John. They are good friends. They know each other from a very long time, in the 80s. And so it's an honor for me to make this EP with very famous people. And you must see and contact Linda, because she's fantastic, very sympathetic, and she's a real singer. She's doing all her show singing live. And it's not all the case of the artists of the 80s, but Linda always sings live. But yeah, it will be, and there will also, if you want some new, there will be also an album with Ryan Paris that I've nearly finished, where Ryan sings a lot of songs from the 80s, songs that he had never sung before, and really surprising, because there is some song in new wave stuff coming from the new wave, people with band like OMD or Travel. So it will be something quite surprising, and we will release that also in September or October. We have something like 10 tracks that Ryan have completely replayed, but it's not modern sound. It's songs like sounds in the sound of today, but it's not remixed. It's very faithful to the tradition.